Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dolled Up Desserts baking channel. Today's video is part 2 of how to bake anything vegan egg replacers. Today we're going to be talking about the different kinds of vegan egg replacers that exist, which there are a lot, and which ones are best to use in which applications. If you haven't watched the first part of this 2-part episode, make sure you check it out. The little information icon right up there will be your best friend. If you're stumbling upon our channel for the first time, welcome. My name is Katarina. I'm the chief dessert designer and founder of Dolled Up Desserts. Dolled Up Desserts is a gluten-free and vegan bakery and baking mix production company from Hamilton, Ontario in Canada. Our channel is full of delicious gluten-free and vegan recipes, tips, and tricks to help make you a better baker. So if you like that sort of stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you can stay up to date with everything Dolled Up Desserts. Let's start with the most common vegan egg replacer, which you'll see in recipes all across the internet. It is a flax egg. A flax egg is essentially milled flax seed that has been combined with water. Usually it's in a ratio of 2 grams of flax to 5 grams of water, or for those of you who don't use grams, 1 tablespoon of flax to about 30 tablespoons of water. When flax comes into contact with water and gets to kind of sit for a little bit, it actually becomes quite goopy. This is because of the naturally occurring mucilage that is in the shells of flax seeds, as well as chia seeds and any kind of seed, when ground up. That mucilage, when put with water, kind of creates this hydrocolloid, which is basically a gel, that can be used to hold things together. Now, flax in general is one of the better vegan egg replacers because of that gelling reason, but it doesn't really do much more than hold things together. It does create a little bit of density, but you have to be a bit careful with the fudginess that flax seed might create, and you can't do too much of it because it can weigh things down. In addition, flax can go rancid. Pretty much as soon as flax is ground, it is rancid. Eating rancid flax won't kill you, especially in small quantities. You're gonna be fine. But it does leave a certain taste. You can start tasting the rancid omega-3s in flax, which kind of have this weird kind of fishy taste. I'm sure if you tasted it right now, you'd know what I'm talking about. We use flaxseed in brownies and blondies. We do use it in muffins, but in some very, very small amounts. I would never use it in something that's supposed to be light and fluffy, like cake or angel food cake. Anything where you don't want the consistency of those flax seeds in your teeth. They do kind of stick around. I wouldn't put it in there. We used to put it in cookies. You can definitely use flax in cookies, but there are other egg replacers that work just as well for cookies and don't kind of leave that flaxy residue in your mouth after. And the next egg replacer that's pretty much identical to flax is a chia egg, which is basically, again, you grind up chia, you add it with water, and it works the same way. I do not like using chia as an egg replacer purely from the perspective of that chia has that rancid omega-3 taste, like 100 times more than flax. I use chia seeds in the exact same application of flax seeds, something that's a little bit more dense. I actually probably wouldn't even use it in a muffin because chia seed eggs tend to be a little bit more dense than a flax egg. So the next entry-level egg replacer for any new vegans would be the Energy store-bought egg replacers. They kind of come in a box. They're usually a combination of starches and leavening agents, like baking soda, baking powder, and arrowroot starch or cornstarch. That's it. They're really simple. They're great to use in scoops, like I think it's 1 to 2 tablespoons replaces an egg, and they provide the functions of an egg, such as leavening and also creating a bit of density and chew, because that's what starches do in baked goods. An egg replacer that we use often in cakes is a combination of baking soda, baking powder, and some sort of acid. Usually used in a ratio of 1 teaspoon of baking soda or baking powder to 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar, but at the bakery we actually do a ratio of 1 teaspoon of agent to 2 teaspoons of acid to really ensure all of the agent is really reacting and creating nice aeration in our baked goods. I would always use some form of acid and agent in any recipe, whether it's cookies, cakes, bars. The acid can come from a variety of different things, but I would 100% use this egg replacer across the board, no matter what. SILKEN tofu is an egg replacer that I choose not to use. Some people do. I've seen it in a few commercial products. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it because all it really provides is density and moisture. That's it. You just gotta make sure you blend down your tofu, and I guess if you're in a pinch and you don't have anything else, it would work. but as my choice egg replacer, it doesn't provide as many functions as I would like in an egg replacer. Mashed potato is actually one of our favorite density type egg replacers. We use potato in all of our shortbread cookies, and we use it in our brownies and blondies. Mashed potato, especially sweet potato, creates a really, really fudgy, dense texture because it is a very, very moist subject in general. It also provides a tiny bit of acidity, not very much. I would use it in combination with baking soda acid combo. You could even use it in combo with a little bit of flaxseed. Applesauce all around is a really, really great egg replacer, and that's because it provides multiple functions. It's acidic, so it helps with the leavening. It also is dense, so it helps kind of retain moisture, and it contains a little bit of sugar as well too, which kind of makes the treat overall a bit better. We love using applesauce in cookies instead of flaxseed because it doesn't have that flaxseed caught in your teeth kind of effect. It's just smooth, delicious, provides a little bit of acidity, but not too much, so we can ensure that the baking soda and baking powder is functioning at maximum potential, as well as adding a little bit of sweetness and binding and density. So overall, it's awesome. We also use a small amount of applesauce in our cakes. That's purely from the perspective of creating a little bit of density in our recipe. Because it's gluten-free, that additional applesauce does help kind of retain the moisture and create a little bit more structure in the cake. But again, we're not using too much of it because it could end up with our cakes being super dense. Oh, and all of these kind of like density creating items like tofu or fruit purees or potato or banana, you would use a 1/4 cup of that puree to replace 1 egg. Mashed banana works very similarly to applesauce, except it tastes like mashed banana. So I would never use it in anything except for banana bread because that's where I want the banana flavor to shine. And let me tell you, I use 4 bananas in 1 loaf of banana bread. The more bananas in that stuff, the better. It provides all the delicious properties of a fruit puree in terms of aeration, in terms of holding things together, in terms of a little bit of acidity. It's great. But again, bananas taste like bananas, so if you like banana flavored things, put it in everything. Otherwise, don't do it. Nut butters are cited as another kind of egg replacer. I would not recommend using nut butters as an egg replacer because you really have to play around with the fat content that you're putting into your baked good, like coconut oil or canola oil. Yogurt is another cited egg replacer, and we have used it before. It's really great because it's acidic, it provides some density, it provides a really nice flavor if you're using vanilla yogurt, and it also adds a lot of richness because a lot of vegan yogurts are made from coconut and coconut oil, so you get a little extra fat there. But the downside to yogurt as an egg replacer is that it is bloody expensive. So in terms of cost-benefit analysis, yogurt is definitely not a good one. The last 2 egg replacers I'm going to talk about are kind of wild cards. One of them I would only use in certain application, and the other one I would use in every application. So the first one is AQUAFABA. AQUAFABA is God's gift to vegans. It is a fairly new discovery, as in the last 10 years. Basically, you can whip the water out of a can of chickpeas. That disgusting stuff that you thought you just put down the drain, save that gold. It is so useful in making anything that's supposed to be light and fluffy because it has similar amounts of protein to an egg white. So it does make awesome meringues, meringue cookies, lemon meringue pie, macarons. In terms of making something fluffy and light, AQUAFABA is your best friend. You definitely want to try it out. It's really quite great. And the benefit of using AQUAFABA over egg whites is that you can't over whip it. With egg whites, there comes a certain point where you've put too much air into it that it actually becomes very clumpy and you don't get the same light fluffiness that you would if you actually just beat it properly. AQUAFABA, there's no clumping possible. You can whip that thing all day and there's gonna come to a certain point where it's just as whipped as it's gonna get, and that's it. We prefer to use AQUAFABA out of the can rather than making it ourselves because the canned chickpeas have sat in the AQUAFABA, so there's a little bit more protein exchange going on there between the chickpeas and the water. The stuff that you would make yourself by making your own cooked chickpeas, you'd have to reduce it down to ensure that the ratio of water to proteins is pretty condensed. And also there's no consistency there in terms of what the AQUAFABA is like. But also then again, every can of chickpeas is slightly different. I find certain brands of AQUAFABA absolutely horrendous, and some of them are absolutely wonderful. The last egg replacer that I would use in every single function possible is actually soy or sunflower lecithin. As I mentioned in video 1, eggs contain natural lecithin in the yolk. This acts as an emulsifier, basically a molecule that holds onto water and fat and helps disperse the water and fat evenly throughout the treat, aka creating a homogeneous batter, custard, whatever you're making. And the only way to get that in vegan baking is to use soy or sunflower lecithin. I know there's a group of people in the vegan community who don't believe in additives and think that lecithin is an additive. Let me tell you right now, it is not the additive that you think it is. It is a naturally occurring molecule in the soy protein plant as well as in the sunflower seed. You can get non-GMO variations if that's what you're looking for. You only really need a teaspoon to replace the emulsifier that would be in an egg, so it's not really a lot. And it does help create a more consistent and homogeneous treat. So if you can get your hands on some lecithin, I would 100% recommend it. If you've watched any of our videos on cannabis oil and cannabis cooking, you know that lecithin is absolutely critical, whether you're making something vegan or not, to ensure that the cannabis is evenly spread throughout the treat that you're making. And that, ladies and gentlemen, in sum, is our review of the different kinds of egg replacers that you can use in vegan baking. Now you're equipped with the understanding of how to use eggs in traditional baking, plus the different kinds of replacers that you can use and the different applications for each. Go have fun, be creative, try different combinations of egg replacers for each of your treats. I'm sure you'll find something wonderful that works well for your needs. If you like this video and you want to stay up to date with everything Dolled Up Desserts, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell to stay up to date. And if you want to know what else is going on in the Dolled Up Desserts universe, follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Dolled Up Desserts Baking. Next week, you're going to be covering flavors and colors that can be used in vegan baking, so you definitely want to tune in next week. Thanks for watching, guys!